Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be looking at why Myles Turner is the future of the Indiana Pacers and the Pacers organization in general. But before we get into it, make sure you leave a big old like on this video. And of course, if you like all my content, please subscribe to my channel. Get me away from 35 or 36 subscribers. Just make sure I'm not stuck there forever. So let's get right into it. So to start this video off, I want to introduce the fact that Myles Turner has lived his entire NBA career living in the shadow of Paul George. I think he can have a breakout season this year because now that Paul George is gone, there's really no threat for him in his playing time. Myles Turner started playing basketball at the very young age of 6. He would work on his shooting in the yard, in his backyard, and he would hit a growth spurt in the 7th grade. He came into high school with the height of 6 foot 2 inches. In the spring, he would play center for a Texas select team. And this summer, he would play in tournaments and went to a bunch of different camps. Some of these camps included Elite 24 Invitational, Nike Big Men Skills. This is a very important camp, the Nike Big Men Skills Academy, and of course, the LeBron camp. He went to the LeBron camp. That's crazy to think about. And in his sophomore year, Turner broke his ankle in the first game of the season. This did not stop Turner as he worked as hard as he did when he wasn't injured just to come back his junior year. And this would be a big year for Turner. Before this year, he didn't really have a lot of media attention. He wasn't getting any scholarship offers from any colleges. But while he was injured, and in between his sophomore and, those 2 years he was in college, of course, he started playing at 6 foot 2 inches. When he came into high school, he gained 5 inches and gained 30 pounds. So he is a 6'7" junior in high school, and he's coming off of an injury. So, of course, this could be, a little bit scary for some colleges. Big men getting injured, definitely something you don't want. And, just coming off an injury, just really something you don't want. But, again, as I said, he's relatively unknown, so he needed something to get some media attention. And, of course, he had a breakout season his junior year, averaging 15 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, and the most shocking stat, 8 blocks per game. Wow, he had 8 blocks. His team was really bad. They were not good at all, but they still went 17-13. But Turner wasn't satisfied with this. Turner's team made it to the state playoffs for only the 8th time in school history. The school was established in 1968. 2 of those times they made it to the state playoffs were with Turner. That is amazing. And of course he went back-to-back, but in senior year he did not make it as far. But this breakout season gained Turner so much attention. He got a lot of attention for, getting his team to states, and of course his play in states was very great, like his whole season, because he had to carry his team. But this gained him a lot of attention. He was the most looked at prospect going into his senior year. He had everything, all the attention, all the skills, and didn't disappoint. He averaged 18 points per game, so more points this year. I'm going to say this, but he developed an offensive game. Almost every year he's played in the NBA, his offensive efficiency has gone up. And I expect that to happen this year, of course. But 12 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. He's never been a huge assister or dimer, but that's pretty good. And 7 blocks per game. Myles Turner was one of the most insane defensive protectors in this league. This was a great season and led his team to a 24-7 record. He did have a better team this year, but definitely not as good definitely not, up to the standards of other 24-7 teams. He was a 5-star recruit on many different websites and platforms, and Turner was getting scholarships from colleges like Kansas, Duke, Texas, Arizona, Kentucky, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State. Turner announced on ESPN that he would go to the University of Texas. He made this decision because he was raised and born in Texas, and that's where his parents and all his family members live. So he wanted to stay with his family in Texas, staying true to his roots. Texas struggled. They were really struggling in Turner's freshman year. Losing in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament, Turner declared for the draft after his freshman season. This was not a big shock, but because of Texas's struggles, this hurt him. He didn't put up a lunch, but he played 7 games as a starter and then got benched. He averaged 10.1 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, and 2.6 blocks per game. Of course, this was all coming off the bench, so these were pretty good numbers, but he was benched at the struggling team that Texas was. This, of course, hurt his draft stock and surprised many fans when Turner really didn't put up that great numbers with Texas. He had a strong combine performance that raised his draft stock a little bit. With all these circumstances, he got drafted with the 11th pick by the Indiana Pacers in 2015. Turner's game changed once he got into the NBA. He started showing off his jumper a little bit more, like he didn't show that in college or high school. As we remember, he would always practice his jump shot in the backyard before he had his big growth spurt. He would always work on that and really was just doing it for fun. But this all came back into play full circle when we started realizing he had a good jumper and he could actually shoot the ball. He turned into a stretch big. And this was surprising to so many people because he rarely shot the 3 ball in high school. Never shot one in college. It was very rare to see him shoot this. A lot of people were very surprised. But once he got into the NBA, 10.3 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 1.4 blocks per game, and he shot 0.3 three-pointer per game. So that's a little less than 1 three-pointer per 2 games. So in the offseason, he worked on his big man game. That was one thing he didn't lack. He struggled at grabbing rebounds as he only got 6 per game last year. And he also worked on his, post skills and footwork skills. He gained 1 inch going into his sophomore year of the NBA, while playing 81 games in the sophomore season of his NBA career. But still had a problem because he was the second scorer with Paul George. But he saw a great increase in playing time and was considered the second scorer. He wasn't in his freshman year, so he averaged 15 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 2 blocks per game. Again, everything went up, all of the stats. He showed some potential when he dunked on Tristan Thompson in the playoffs, but never really played into his high school self or college self. But, of course, as you guys know, in the offseason, Paul George was traded to the Thunder, making Myles Turner one of the leaders of his team, if not the leader of his team. He was named captain of the team he was named one of the captain of the team this year, and will get a lot more minutes. Due to his injury, we don't really have a bunch of stats for Myles Turner, but he has been putting up a good stat line, but it's okay. Now, we've seen a lot from this Pacers team when Myles Turner was injured. If you look at it, it's clear that Myles Turner has a chance to have a breakout year. The Pacers really only have Victor Oladipo, who's going insane this year, averaging 23.8 points per game, and is the 12th leading scorer in the NBA. Victor Oladipo. There's also guys like Thaddeus Young and Darren Collison, who I've never been too, keen on, but they're putting up nice numbers this year, and they're great players. An X factor or two to this team is Domantas Sabonis and TJ Leaf. Sabonis, being 21 years old, is a very effective scorer, but definitely needs to work on his defense. And TJ Leaf, being the Pacers draft pick, still needs to work on learning how to help the offense without always having the ball in his hand. Of course, he is not very good off the ball, but is a great defender. He's become an above average defender, which is a very good sign. The problem with this team is it's struggling to grab rebounds. Of course, without Myles Turner being there. And our below-average defending team, even with a couple defensive standouts like TJ Leaf and Darren Collison, is a pretty good defender. But one good thing about this is those two things they have problems with, rebounding and defending, Myles Turner excels at. He is an amazing blocker. You guys know, in high school he averaged 8 blocks per game one year. Of course, that was high school, but that's definitely something you don't lose, your ability to block. He's also 6'11", so it makes it a little bit easier for him to block the basketball. In rebounding, of course, Myles Turner, being as athletic as he can really run down the floor, grab rebounds, and jump high to grab those offensive rebounds. And a possible reason they've started the season so hot is based on the fact that this is the most efficient offensive rated team in the league, ranked number 3. This stretch is probably because Myles Turner was injured. Myles Turner isn't as good as a pure scorer as Victor Oladipo, and this team needed a pure scorer with all their defenders. They could lean on Victor Oladipo on offense and pick up the slack while Myles Turner is injured. Victor Oladipo can just go out there, go crazy, not have to try on defense because they got a bunch of good defenders, but it hasn't really showed. Based on stats from they have a very good defending team, but it hasn't showed this year. But Victor Oladipo can just go crazy on offense, carry the team on offense, but lack on defense and just not really play much defense and save his energy. And of course, Myles Turner will come back, so as soon as Myles Turner comes back, Victor Oladipo can rest again. So Victor Oladipo might as well just lay it on the line right now. And another thing people are often really forgetting about is Glenn Robinson III is injured. He was the 3rd leading scorer option on the Patriots last year, and he's missing time. It's amazing that a young team can do all this without 2/3 of their best players on offense. If Myles Turner comes back healthy, this team has a chance to make a splash this year. They're currently 3rd in the East behind Boston and Orlando, and that's without their future star, Myles Turner. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, leave your comments down below on your opinion of Myles Turner. And this Pacers team just in general, do you think they have a chance to do anything in the East? I mean, of course not make the finals, but maybe the conference finals? Maybe they have a chance against the Cavs? I don't know. We saw what happened last year. They got destroyed. But if you like my content, make sure to subscribe. And of course, if you like this video and Myles Turner, make sure to like the video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you soon. Hey.